For my birthday weekend, I wanted to dedicate this episode to the people that have given me the gift of life. And that is my parents and my mom and dad. And this specific episode is about the four major lessons that my parents have taught me. And it's not by words, because let's be real, kids don't listen to what you say, they watch how you behave. It's their embodiment and how they showed up in life and how they just really took care of the family. And so these are the four, without further ado, major lessons that I've learned from them thus far. So the first one is whatever you do, make it the best. So it could be simple things like gardening, mowing the lawn, cleaning the house, like the way my mom puts on her makeup, all the way up to how they built their life and their business and like literally picked up their bag from Hong Kong and came to the States. I think one thing that I was very shocking once like we grew up and started going to school and meeting other parents or other people, we're like, oh, not everyone's like this. Like my natural default for growing up was like you either do it and you do it your best or you don't do it at all. And that has absolutely served me. I've never regretted giving everything my 110%. I do regret the handful of times that I've half-assed things. So I would say that's a huge lesson learned. It's do it. If you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability or don't do it at all. Secondly is be kind, but take no shit. So I watched my parents be these generous, loving, open people to close friends and family. They're just very kind of open, generous people. And over time, even when I was really young, I started to notice that it wasn't always reciprocated. Like at times I felt like I was like freaking 6 years old. And I would be like, huh, it looks like mom and dad are kind of being taken advantage of, or, their energy isn't matched. And so from that experience, I learned you should always show up fully you on your standards, be kind, be generous, be open, but then be mindful of your boundaries and be mindful that you are full and whole and healthy and well before you start trying to take care of everybody else, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And also be mindful with the theme of boundaries, be mindful of what cups are worth pouring your energy into, and what cups are, you know you'll pour into them when the time's right, when it feels right, but it's not putting all your investment into that thing. But I always say start open, be kind, be open, but then over time, really kind of weed out who you want to put your energy into and what you want to put your energy into. Which brings me to a kind of similar theme is I've also learned from them. The third thing is knowing what is worth your energy and investment and knowing what's not. In life, we get the same 24 hours, yet we're all living very different lives, right? It's all about focus and it's all about intention. So I've learned from them, even when we're really young, like, are we doing things that are going to grow us, make us healthier, happier, growing the family unit tighter? Um, Things that I was never really into was like heavy partying, doing drugs, gossiping. I just like think it's such a freaking waste of time. And so I think for me, being efficient was so important, like, because there's so much I want to get done. And just watching how my parents can like literally magically get everything done. Like even my mom, who was a working mom, entrepreneur, self-made, had her own business. I never felt like my mom wasn't around. Like I always felt that I was number one. And to the point where sometimes I was like, oh my gosh, it's too much. I need space. So to watch someone like my mom, who's like a super mom, be a full-time career woman, founder and entrepreneur, and like a full-time mom, like super impressive. And so for me, it was like efficiency was so important. And with that, it became very clear of what's worth your energy. Let's invest and pour into that, and what's not worth your energy, and just not give it any time. And I think of things that are not worth your energy, like for example, I use analogy of you going to a buffet, right? When you go to a buffet, there's so many different types of foods, and there'll be foods that you like and you don't like. I'm trying to think of a food that I don't like because I eat a lot of everything. Okay, let's say there's like super fried food, okay? Greasy, super. just looks nasty. Say that's an option in the buffet, but I don't want it. I'm not interested in it. I don't go stare at the thing I don't want and go, oh, why is it like this? Oh, I don't like that. I don't spend time dwelling on it. I just move on to the things that I like. So in life, what I've learned from them is when things that come to you that you like and you like want more of, put your energy into it. Things that come to your life that are kind of just not aligned with you, you're not interested, you don't have to make a scene about it. You don't need to make it wrong. You don't have to be like, why is that food greasy? Just move on, right? Like, don't give it any attention. So that's something to know where to put your energy. And the last thing that they taught us, super important, is to live a life you're proud of. Don't show a life you're proud of. There are people that may have a house where it's super messy, unkept, and like it's chaotic, right? Just disaster zone. But when they walk outside of their home, they're super well put together, designer head to toe, and it's like two different people. And one thing that my dad's always said is just make sure like you're on the inside, like you as a person, as character, like you're good, right? And it's not a facade, it's not a show. Like he was really big about like owning who you are and being authentic about that. So, and it came down to again, like making sure and taking care of yourself and what really matters, like your values, versus just trying to get approval from the world, right? Getting the next designer bag, like feeling like keeping up with the Joneses. He was just not very into that. And I'm really glad we learned that lesson when we were very young so that we know what things to focus on in terms of values, what is worth our time and investment, and what is just, we're doing it to appease society or we're doing it in a way to like be seen in a certain way by others, which it's more important for you to be good within yourself. And within that, it's also really true that character integrity, your character and integrity will stand the test of time. There should be nothing in your life that happens to you that gets you off of your character integrity. And to always show up in your high standards no matter what happens. Like don't scoop down to people's low levels. If someone comes at you in a disrespectful way, you do not need to reciprocate that. Do not engage. So I think it kind of ties back to focusing and energy and look where to put in your time, but really just being good and whole and honest, being an honest person versus portraying that side of you when on the inside you're actually not that person. So I hope these 4 lessons learned are helpful.